Oh my God! We're in a tornado!
Terrifying how quickly all this unfolded as these construction workers were caught in an EF-3 tornado that tore through St. Louis 6 months ago. The twister killed 5 people and caused about $1.6 billion in damage. At Fox Weather, we're dedicated to keeping you updated on the recovery process after the disaster strike. So Fox News multimedia reporter Olivianna Calmes lives in St. Louis and was called to the scene right after the storm. Here's some of what she saw.
This is just one example of what we're hearing is a lot of buildings and houses that have trees fallen down. We've got power lines down nearby as well. But you can see this huge tree that was just uprooted. That sidewalk is just totally demolished there. And then that tree fell on this apartment that's in the middle of this neighborhood here in Clayton. A lot of people still without power. And a lot of folks are walking out of where they were sheltering in place because they're trapped in wherever they are. There's people here in this neighborhood. Their cars are just... there's no way out of this neighborhood. In fact, this is an example of one of the roads in this neighborhood that's blocked off right here. You can see all the trees in the middle of the road.
That was in the immediate aftermath. Now, Olivianna Calmes joins me with an update. Olivianna, what's the recovery process been like over the last 6 months?
Yeah, Steve, it's crazy to hear that live shot from 6 months ago and be here today, 6 months later, where there's still piles of rubble around the area that honestly you would drive around some of these parts and not know how many months it's been, unfortunately. There's places that people have just given up on because it costs too much to repair. Some people have moved away. Others are still trying to figure out their next steps. Homes were shredded, power lines torn down. There were scenes of chaos after that tornado in May tore through parts of St. Louis, causing an estimated $1.6 billion in damage.
All of that debris came and it shattered every single one of those windows that we had up there.
Just last week, Missouri Senator Eric Schmitt announced $59 million in FEMA funds for the area. President Trump approved another $2.5 million last month. But many say the help is getting here too slowly.
We only just got people out to take care of our windows here maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. And so you have people that are there's a roof that's being done right behind us over here and all over the neighborhood. I applied for FEMA 5 times on 4 or 5 different properties, and we were denied every single time.
Benjamin Anderson has lived and owned homes in the area for 7 years. He says after the tornado, some neighbors have already given up and left.
Even my next door neighbor, he was like, I think I probably will just move to Mississippi or Alabama or something like this.
People impacted by the storm are continuing to seek day-to-day help here in St. Louis. For many, though, that strain goes beyond repairs.
For individuals who are still suffering, that 6 months is really, if you will, the end often of the adrenaline rush. And so now we're tapping into much deeper resiliency efforts.
The problems are even worse for those who still don't have homes to live in.
We were talking to a resident who is literally still camping outside of their house, even months after the tornado.
Still, others are staying optimistic.
The STL Recovers has a new program and we're pretty hopeful about it, so hopefully that'll be, an asset to a lot of us who are impacted. Steve, you mentioned I reported here 6 months ago. This is also the city I live in, so it's hard to see people just hurting here. We had some guy drive past and just say, we're still hurting badly. And that just is the case. If you drive down, there's a house just over here where there's a tent. Someone's staying there still this many months later. Thankfully, there's in-person places to get assistance and charities still helping, but it's tough.
Yeah, Olivianna, it's shocking because you think of St. Louis, you think about a big city, probably have a bunch of resources and aid there. 6 months, you would want to have more something to see, with the update and recovery there. But important to highlight how difficult this process is after a violent tornado. Olivianna, thank you for that update from St. Louis.